it's Soda. Welcome back to another video. Today I wanted to make a video on pets that I want to own that I will never own. And this is kind of similar to a video I have already made called like pets that I won't own or something, which I made a few years ago, but the video is a bit old now and I still to this day get constant comments from people asking me to get a certain type of animal. So I want to talk about a few things, starting with don't ask people to buy animals. This is something I've learned when being a part of this pet YouTube community, is that you will constantly be asked in the comments to buy this animal, to make videos on it. Please buy a hamster so you can make videos on it. And I don't really like comments like that, because I don't like the idea of buying an animal just to make videos on it, and you definitely should not encourage people to do that. It just rubs me the wrong way when I see those comments. I know it's probably just kids that just want me to make videos on their pet that they have or something, but I don't own animals to make videos, and that's not something I encourage people to do. I just have a lot of animals and also make videos on them. I do want to get more pets in the future, but that's just not going to happen anytime soon because I don't have space for any other animals, so I'm waiting until I move, until I do get more. But also, I think a lot of people don't realize that here in my country, New Zealand, most pets we can't get here, so a lot of animals that people want me to own, I will never own, because I don't want to live in any other country. I do love living in New Zealand. Not like I need to own certain animals, like I'm happy with what I have and what I can get. But yeah, sometimes I do get a little bit annoyed that there are animals I really want that we can't get here. However, I do completely understand why. And although I've talked about this a bit before, I'm gonna kind of go over it again because I know people are always so like confused as to why we can't get certain animals here. I guess because like in America they just let invasive species run wild everywhere. In a lot of states anyway, like Florida, but I guess you can't do much about it now when it's already been done. But here in New Zealand we have very strict biosecurity laws. We can't get most animals imported here. Of course there are like pet stores that import like fish, but most pet stores here only have fish, at least the ones that are in my city. I think in like bigger cities you guys can get other animals, but a lot of times they're bred in the country, but fish is usually what comes from overseas, which is a good thing. I feel like, because I think it's kind of good having less animals for sale at pet stores, and pretty much the only thing pet stores near me sell is fish. Although I've seen bearded dragons for sale a bit lately, but they always come from like local breeders and stuff. But chain pet stores seem to only have fish, or some of them have rescue like cats and stuff, which I think is pretty cool. But yeah, things like the common hamster is illegal here in New Zealand, and they are actually illegal in Australia as well. And also snakes are illegal here. We don't have snakes in New Zealand, so we also can't get them imported here, apart from like the occasional snake they find once a year for some reason. There are lots of animals that we have here, like wild ferrets, wild hedgehogs, but we can't have them as pets because they are pests animals. And the reason why we can't get things like hamsters, snakes, etc. in the country is because they've never been introduced to New Zealand. And here in New Zealand, you may already know, usually we're pretty well known for our native bird species, like the kiwi, the kia, the kakapo. Kakapos are my personal favorite.
You are being shagged by a rare parrot. He thinks you are. Ow.
They're basically giant flightless parrots and have a lot of personality. They're super cool. There's also the takahi, which they actually thought were extinct for a long time, but they weren't, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, we have quite a lot of different native bird species, as well as native lizards and skinks and stuff too. And pretty much all of our native animals are endangered. A lot of our native birds are flightless, so when predators came along hundreds of years ago when they were introduced to New Zealand, they wiped out a lot of the native birds. So now they have to be very careful with letting animals into the country, and pretty much the safest thing to do is just to not let anything else in, because we gotta protect our native birds, you know, we don't want them going extinct. And you know, hamsters seem like maybe they wouldn't probably cause huge impact, but it's just not worth that risk. So yeah, I do totally get why we can't have more animals here, and I respect it obviously. Like, I don't want them to bring more animals here, but that doesn't mean I can, you know, be a bit bummed sometimes that we can't get certain things. I think it's also interesting to talk about this with you guys. Most of my viewers do come from America, so I'm sure most of you probably haven't heard of this before. You know, a lot of people don't even know where New Zealand is on the map. Actually, a lot of the time we're not even on the map, but yeah. Also more recently, I think it was just this year or last year, they've banned the breeding of a lot of animals. I think it's only in Auckland though. They've started to ban like breeding of types of birds and like bearded dragons and like turtles and stuff as well, which I mean I can understand it with like the turtles. Definitely they're very invasive, but I'm kind of confused as to why they did it with like bearded dragons and like macaws and stuff. I don't really know why, and I think a lot of us were a bit saddened by that. But it's not the whole of New Zealand, but I wonder if it will become the whole of New Zealand at some point. I don't know. But I did find that quite interesting. I definitely don't think bearded dragons or macaws would survive in the wild in New Zealand. Like, it gets very cold here. But I don't know. So hamsters, if we did have them here, I probably would like to own them or just own one and just to see what it's like. Like I like watching videos of other hamster people. I like watching Victoria Rachel. I like watching Munchies Palace, some good hamster YouTube channels that I enjoy watching. They're super cute and I would love to just hold one day. I do want to go to a country where they are allowed just so I can hold one. Same with snakes. I would love to hold snakes. I do really like snakes. But at the same time, hamsters also, just like mice and rats, have a pretty short lifespan, and that's one of the reasons why I probably won't own mice again for a while after my ones passed away. It was pretty upsetting since they don't live very long, and hamsters are the same. They also don't live very long, but it would be nice if I could. I definitely want to own rats in the future one day though, which I've said for a few years. Because one day I want to own them, but who knows when that will be. So yeah, snakes is another animal that if we had them here, I would like to own probably an egg-eating snake. Part of me sometimes finds snakes kind of like a little bit boring. Like they're cool animals, but like, you know, they're not like super interactive and like handleable all the time, so sometimes they're a bit boring. But you know, I own fish, so I can't really say much. But yeah, I would, if I could, I would probably own an egg-eating snake, just because I don't know how I feel about feeding them like frozen mice and stuff. Not saying you shouldn't feed them that, I'm just saying I don't know if personally I would be able to do that, because I really like rodents, so I might be a bit like grossed out by it. Although I watch other people do it. I watch like Snake Discovery and stuff, but I don't know, I just don't know if I'd be totally comfortable doing that. But I do completely understand that that's what they need to eat. Like, I'm not saying you shouldn't feed them that, I'm just saying I don't think I would be able to do it personally. I don't know though, I've never done it before, but I think I would probably prefer an egg-eating snake. Tropical shrimp. I want to own shrimp so bad. This is one of the ones where I'm like kind of confused as to why we can't get these here. Like, they're a little shrimp. I don't feel like they could cause a huge impact on the environment, but I don't know. I guess they don't want to risk anything, you know, I get that. But man, wish I could own some shrimp so bad. Now, we do have native species of shrimp that you can like catch from like outside, which I think a lot of people do sometimes. But they are cold water, not tropical, and you know, I don't know about catching wild shrimp, you know. I would prefer to have some nice, colourful, tropical shrimp. But yeah, we can't get that. It's very sad. I would 100% have a lot of shrimp if we could get them here. We do have saltwater shrimp though. I would probably like to own a saltwater shrimp one day. If I ever owned a saltwater tank. Maybe I would in the future, who knows. They are like over $100, so they're pretty expensive. Tropical, saltwater fish are quite expensive here, but we can get quite a few different types. Ferrets. Ferrets are cute. I love me some ferrets. I love watching videos on ferrets. If we had them in New Zealand, would I own them? Probably, if I had the space for them, which I wouldn't at this moment, but in a world where I have plenty of space, I would probably own them. I mean, ferrets seem like a lot of work, but they're pretty cool animals. They're pretty adorable. I guess they're like rats, but bigger and live longer, so I guess they'd be kind of better than rats. Okay, there's like a weird law with ferrets here in New Zealand, so we're not really supposed to own them. We have wild ferrets here that are a pest and they like eat like the native birds' eggs and stuff like that, so, you know, people don't like ferrets. But there are some weird laws, like, people used to be able to have them as pets, and then they released the law more recently. Well, recently is in, like, I think like 2001 or something, so the year I was born, where people could no longer breed them. They had to also have a permit, and they also had to be for, like, hunting purposes. And there seems like there's still people that own them. I don't know if they're allowed to. Like, I don't know how that works. Like, how do you take them to the vet if... I feel like most vets would not be qualified for them. I don't really know. But I met someone that had 2 ferrets like a couple of years ago when I was at like a pet store like in the countryside. And like, I don't know how they had them. I don't know if they legally had them. But they had 2 ferrets. And they were so cute. But my god, they smell so bad. I think it was the boy that I was holding. And he just, oh my god, he just smelled so gross. I still was like holding him and patting himself, but like the smell was powerful, and my clothes stunk afterwards too. It was yeah. Would I hold him again? Yes, I would, but I would be prepared next time and wear an old jersey or something. I think if you get them fixed they don't smell as bad, but I'm pretty sure they can still smell bad. So yeah, I don't know if I would be able to handle living with that smell because it was bad. But it could have been worse because they were like technically wild ones. I don't know. I don't know how the laws work. I need to like find that person and like ask them, because that was weird. It was cool though, but I'm still confused about it. I wonder if I'll ever see some ferrets again because it was interesting. Tarantulas. I want a tarantula. Now I don't really talk about insects and stuff on my channel because I don't really have an opportunity to, but I really love them. I've never been someone who's scared of spiders or anything like that. Like as a kid, I was always the weird kid that would protect the spiders when the other kids were trying to kill it, and I would set them free outside. So I would definitely love to own like a giant like tarantula or something, but we don't have them here. We don't really have any big species of spiders here, which I guess people would say is a bonus, but I'm like, I want to see a big spider and keep it. When I was a kid, I did keep a huntsman. I think it was a huntsman. It was a very small one though. I tried to keep it. Unfortunately it died. I also kept snails as a kid. I kind of want to do that again. I kept a lot of bugs actually as a kid. I feel kind of bad for them now though because I definitely had no idea what I was doing. I was just a kid that like wanted to keep them and didn't know how to actually take care of them, but I would like to do that again properly this time. I mean, actually I keep worms right now. Does that count? I got a worm farm. Come on, where's a big juicy one? Here's a nice one. Worm tour. Yeah, I have an earthworm farm for my axolotl. I also have like mealworms, but I feel like they don't really count. But yeah, if we had like tarantulas or any other kind of huge spider, I would 100% own them as a pet. So now tarantulas are like fairly easy pets. Another thing is different species of frogs. We only have 3 that we can have as pets. We do have other species of frogs like native frogs, but we can't keep those as pets. But the ones we can keep as pets is the southern bell frog, the green and golden bell frog, and the whistling brown tree frog. But these are all Australian species that were introduced to New Zealand. But they're, you know, I've owned them all before. The brown whistling tree frog are extremely tiny, so they were kind of hard to care for, honestly, because of how tiny they were. It was really hard finding food for them, so I didn't really have a great experience owning those guys. But I love my bell frogs. I have both southern bell and green and golden bell frogs. I love them. I would love to own like African dwarf frogs or African clawed frogs. They're a fully aquatic frog species, which is so cool. I would love to own those if we had them here, but we don't. I would also love like white tree frogs, or like probably my dream, like childhood dream pet would be like the red-eyed tree frog. As a kid, I was a complete frog nerd. I had an obsession with frogs, which I guess I still kind of do, but like when I was a kid, it was like hard. I had like a massive frog toy collection, which I still have, they're like in the attic. I had so many books. I don't know what started the obsession, but I had a very long obsession with frogs, and yeah, it hasn't really stopped, has it? But yeah, if we had more species, I would definitely love to own more. I would love an African bullfrog. I mean, they kind of don't do anything, but they're just so cool. It's just like a big blob in your house. What happened to Mr. Pickles? I used to watch that channel all the time. Is that still a thing? And yeah, there's many other things we can't get here, like hermit crabs and stuff. People ask me about those as well. I feel like it's most of the things I've covered. But yeah, I just thought it would be interesting to discuss some things, like some animals I would like to own, but I will never own them. And the reason why, and why we can't get a lot of different animal species here in New Zealand. Like I said, I'm happy with what I have. I don't feel like I need to have any of these animals. I can observe them, you know, and we can still get some pretty cool animals here. I mean, we can still get axolotls, we can still get fire-bellied newts. There are native, like, species of lizards and skinks that we can actually get here, and you can keep some as pets if you have a permit. I have seen skinks in my backyard a couple of times, surprisingly. It would be kind of cool to get a permit and own them one day, but I also don't feel like I really need to. I'd probably rather, in the future, get a bearded dragon or a blue-tongued skink. Those two reptiles, I would like to choose one or the other. I wouldn't probably have both. I want to choose one of them, but one of those I would definitely like to have in the future. So yeah, I hope this was interesting for you guys. Hopefully this answered the questions I always get about getting animals. And let me know, like, if there's any animals you want to get, or any that are illegal in your country. I know that axolotls are illegal in like some states of America. I don't really know why, but I have heard that that's a thing. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!